They ask you questions, give them answers. You on the show to spill the truth, no need to lie, cause you wanna look cool, be authentic. If you ran the streets, tell the story how it really went, because somebody like me might know how it really went. Steve J, Adam A, Rose City vets, Shotgun Big A, if you know the rest. It's more than a podcast and people letting out stress. It's even more better, we be sharing our success.
You know, and a lot of them relapse, but a few years into owning my business, she was in a car accident where she hit a motorcycle head-on and the two people passed away. She ended up doing 2 years in prison for that, and when she got out, she lasted about 4 months. The department, DOC had changed her. She wasn't the same person. She had a lot of demons. And she lasted about 4 months, and I received a phone call at work that she was being rushed to Lifestar to Hartford Hospital, that she was brought into Wyndham Hospital unresponsive. And just, we won't get into, the whole mess. That's a whole nother lifetime.
Yeah.
We could do 3 interviews on that.
Right. So she fucking went to prison, did 2 years, and probably came out and thought she could do what she was doing before. And that's how she'll do you think?
I couldn't tell you. She was leading a life that she was leading 2 lives, a life with me and a life of her own. And
How long were y'all together? A long time, right?
So from 2000 to, from 1999 to 2014 is when she passed.
What kind of drugs?
Heroin.
And you didn't even know, that's crazy.
No, I'd never even seen heroin before then.
Oh, you didn't?
So I didn't do dope until maybe a year or 2 after she passed.
Was you getting high though when she was getting high? No. You didn't know she was getting high. Nothing, not pills, nothing.
Pills,
yeah. So you was getting high.
I was prescribed.
Right.
I mean,
that's what.
It depends on how you see. I guess if you have to sniff 7 of them to get right and 15 to drool, that's considered getting
Jesus Christ.
But no, actually, it wasn't to that point yet. I was still, when she was alive, I was still taking them as prescribed. It was starting to get heavier, the usage, because, obviously the weight of things. She had a way of taking things and really making turmoil in her life when there didn't need to be. And, some people are like that. They need to have something going on in their life in every facet to feel alive or something. And, misery loves company, so.
So even though she died from heroin, you still decided to do it?
Yeah, and we touch on that. So probably about a year or so after she passed is when the government started cracking down on the pharmaceuticals, and I was cut cold. And you're talking, I had between a 10 and 15 perk 30 a day habit. But I was being prescribed them, so I would run out, and then it was like horse trading with other people that were getting them to stay good. And then they were gone. You couldn't even buy them on the streets anymore. And even when you could buy them on the streets, they were $30. So you're talking, it was a $300 a day habit. And I tried, once that ship had sailed, I had tried to, function. And I couldn't, and a person that I knew was like, you can't do that to yourself. You got to do something. And I was, honest to God, I was scared. I was so scared. I didn't know anything about heroin, the quantities, what it cost, or anything like that. And honestly, I got burnt. Like, the guy was selling me so the last time I bought it would have been a bundle for maybe $15, $20. I was paying like $150 for that.
Good Lord.
And I would do just little specks of it. I was so scared of it. And then it was crazy because I didn't know anybody who did anything like that except for this one person. And I didn't even know she did it until she said she saw me sick and was like, she knew why. And then all of a sudden, once you start doing it, like, these fucking people just come out of the woodwork. And next thing you know, you're surrounded with all these people you don't know, and they're all your people now.
Yeah, they all want to get high.
And, I hooked up with better and better deals, and then I found out the guy that was selling it to me in beginning, and they were fucking way over. They were paying for their habits and their buddies' habits. Not to mention, when I would buy the stuff for $150, I'd have to give them some out of it. You know what I'm saying? I had no clue. You know, I didn't know what it was about. I mean, I had grown up with a lot of my friends years before they had problems, and I actually had helped a couple of them out. But even at that point, I had never been at that level to where I saw the ritual or I understood the game. You know what I'm saying?
Can you tell them how much a bundle is? How many bags of dope?
Bundle's 10 bags of dope. So a gram of dope is about 3 good bundles.
Yep.
And then you're talking quality. You know, there's different qualities.
Yeah.
You could see.
You want that brown shit, right?
And the crazy thing is you know, there's a huge psychological element to it too, because
Let's get into it.
dope, street dope, doesn't compare to pills and fentanyl and all that stuff, because, you know, you're getting stuff that's stepped on. But psychologically, you would still think, you know, if you're withdrawn from it, it's just as bad. But then you figure out that, wait a minute, you know, like, so the best place to ever detox from any kind of hard drugs is jail, because you got no shot.
Yeah.
That's it. You got to accept it, and you just got to, you know, bide your time and know that every day you're going to get a little bit better. But you withdraw harder from methadone and pharmaceuticals like Perk 30s. It's twice as bad as any dope you're going to buy on the street. But then it all depends on where you're buying too. So if you're buying
They say
stuff,
methadone is worse than doing heroin.
if you're buying dope out of Hartford, you know, you're going to buy a stack. That's 10 bundles.
10 bundles.
You're going to go home, and probably on the way home, you're going to do 2 bundles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If that's your habit. But if you go to New Haven, so now a bundle in Hartford I could get for between $15 and $20. But you go to New Haven, you pay $100 a bundle. And you're probably going to do 1 bag before you get to the on-ramp and call an ambulance. So it's a different story, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, they ain't playing over there. I think it's because it's closer to New York and New Jersey, where a lot of the shit is coming in. But it's also, it's different, you know? I mean, it really is like a subculture, you know, epidemic subculture. And there's plenty of people out there who are just as addicted to the ritual, you know, the city light, getting off that particular exit, the needle, whatever it may be, just the ritual. They're just as addicted to the ritual, if not more, than the actual drug itself. You know what I'm saying? And then the big problem is when somebody wants to get better, what's the first thing everybody does nowadays when they're trying to figure something out? Come on, guys, you know. They go online. They start Googling shit.
Googling.
And it's the worst thing you can do. The fucking horror stories that you hear. You know what I'm saying? It scares you out of doing what you should be doing. You just...
Because they say
stuff,
you're in so much
just
pain.
do your thing. You know what? Listen, day 3 is going to be the worst day. Unless it's methadone. Methadone, man, is a hard kick. You're talking, that takes months. And... you know, day 3 is going to be the worst day. And you just got to say to yourself, hey, you know, you got a choice. You can keep going. You can go and get Suboxone. You can go and get methadone. But I said to myself, if this is the worst I'm going to feel, then I'm good. I'm going to keep chomping away at the bit, and I'm going to let it run out. You know what I'm saying? And even then, so quitting, honestly, as hard as it is the easiest part of recovery. Quitting the shit. It's staying away from it, and because you got to realize, you know, when you've had a habit for X amount of time, your brain stops producing the pleasure centers, the dopamine, the endorphins, and all that stuff, because you're stimulating those glands with something synthetic, and it takes, you know, a year, sometimes 2 years for your body to start producing those natural chemicals that give you your sense of well-being and you know, the reward, the pleasure centers and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, so, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, it's a long road, and it takes a while for it to work its way out of your head, even once your body has been clean. But it's worth it. In the end, it's worth it. You know, and when you're around those people, you know, some people might trigger this and that. I mean, you know,
What was your hardest thing to stay clean? Did I ask that? No, I didn't.
It's your girl King Says, every bitch's fantasy, the biggest says. You already know what's going on. We're on News, Life, and Beyond. They told me come up here and pop my shit. They want an intro? Adam A, Steve J, let's go. News, Life, and Beyond. They wanna know I'm the king, how far I come. They wanna know how I get bread, stack these funds. They wanna know why I came in here with my support is free, so this adds inventory.